If we're looking at combined foot inversion and eversion, our stationary arm is lined up with the tibial tuberosity and the moving arm is following the second metatarsal. So that's its group motion of the talocrural joint, the subtalar, and the mid-tarsal joint. So, did I hurt you?
No, I just sprained it a lot, so I'm like a little nervous.
Okay, so ideally I would be checking the end feel at each of those joints because it's a combined joint motion. Okay, so in the clinic you're going to be checking the talocrural joint end feel and the subtalar joint end feel and the mid-tarsal joint end feel. For the purposes of the practical, I'm not going to make you do 3, but I'm going to make you do the only one that you haven't done yet. Okay, because with dorsiflexion, plantar flexion, you're doing talocrural joint. With subtalar joint inversion, eversion, you're measuring the end feel at the subtalar joint. So we need to do the transverse tarsal joint. And so what is it about the transverse tarsal joint that's different than the other joints?
It's 2 pairs of bones.
It has 2 axes and it's 2 joints. So it's talonavicular and calcaneal cuboid. Okay, and so there is a longitudinal axis going through the foot. And so what motions will occur if there's a spike going right through Kat's foot this way? How will her foot is going to spin around that in inversion and eversion? And then how about if the axis is oblique? It's going to spin into plantar flexion, adduction, dorsiflexion, abduction. Okay, so I'm going to stabilize her calcaneus so she's in a neutral position, so she doesn't have to worry also about her ankle sprain. And I'm going to move her about her longitudinal axis, inversion, eversion. Is that okay, Kat? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to dorsiflex an abductor and plantar flex an adductor. And it should be firm at all of those axes. Okay?
So it's sort of 2 directions.
You have to check both axes.
Goes with abduction.
Yeah. Yes. And so we're getting all 3 component motions. So about the longitudinal axis, when I do eversion, that's a component motion of pronation or supination?
Eversion is pronation.
Pronation. If I do dorsiflexion and abduction, that's a component motion of
Inversion.
pronation. So now when I do inversion, that's a component motion of supination. When I do plantar flexion and adduction, that's a component motion of supination also. Okay, so it's 2 different axes, but between the 2 axes, we get all of the component motions of pronation, supination. Is that on your test today?